this forum, the third activist forum, is I think only the second one that has been held in situ, face-to-face. We are only providing funding for this project. It's implemented, as you know, by a range of organizations, the Southern African Litigation Center, Nyasa Rainbow Alliance, Rock of Hope, COSPE. It's been, I think, quite a successful project.
My role today was to share with the community my political experience as a trans-identifying person, how it has been a journey for the first time in the history of Lesotho politics to have someone who is gender non-conforming run for a political office.
I was particularly glad to see so many activists from the communities, also from other countries that are not participating at the moment in the Out and Proud project, because it means that we can use these lessons and maybe replicate a little bit of the work in other countries.
Para mim é momento muito importante porque posso colher experiências de ativistas de outros países que estão na mesma luta e que têm as mesmas dinâmicas relativamente à orientação sexual e identidade de género no contexto africano, sobretudo da África Austral.
The expectation was to really engage with the peers, organizations, peers, activists as well, and which is doing great because we need to know about the context of each country. Our context is different, but our common fight is to get a better space for the LGBT plus community around the region. So this is an opportunity to engage with our peers, to understand as well their realities, to share our experience as well, and to grab from them as well. So there are both ways. Networking is something which is very important in the fight that we are doing. Come to think that we are minority K-pops in our own settings in the country. So if we can regroup together to develop alliances for regional advocacy, for example, so this will help a lot for the work that we are doing.
I am the Deputy Director at the Southern Africa Litigation Center. The FATF is short for Financial Action Task Force, which is a movement or an association of governments that looks at anti-money laundering and anti-terrorism provisions in the world. The purpose is to ensure that there are laws and processes in place to prevent money laundering and to deal with terrorism, to ensure that there are no illicit funds that are getting, to sponsor terrorism.
My name is Sanjo. I'm representing LGBTIQ from the Seychelles. We had a meeting with the registration division in Seychelles. They asked the NGOs in Seychelles to come forward, and they were going to do a workshop on the review of the Registration Act. So we all came, we sat down. Wendy Rogers, who is the director, she provided us with a document saying that they're going to do the review. And then she explained to us what the review was going to be about, the amendments to the Act, and how it was going to impact on registration and other NGOs in the country.
We need to have courageous conversations with our donors. That things should stick to what our organizational objectives are, and not always what the donor training is.
We do a lot of gatekeeping. When we have smaller organizations coming up, we tend to overpower the smaller organizations, and that in turn also shrinks the spaces.
Our biggest thing has been around, using our niche, which is coming back to sacred texts. As an organization, we had to have very candid conversations, which were very uncomfortable as well, because it's acknowledging that the Bible is a place of dispute.
From an LGBTI sector perspective, there are many fears that we have. And the fear is that the only opportunity we had, some of us, in registering our organizations was using what we call the universitas.
With the European Union member states, we have committed to working together to raise awareness of the rights of the LGBTIQA+ community and to help fight stigma and discrimination.
I have, for the past 4+ months, made and took a huge decision to go into politics. It was not an easy decision to make, but it was a need. But like I said, what happened to simplicity? You eloquently spoke, articulate in action the barriers you broke. What happened to the action in activism strategy? It bonded with philosophy and soon became a theory. And workshop after workshop, our language skills improve, but we are a movement and we should be on the move.
Queer movements are the most resilient movements that have existed across time. We cannot question that. We've been very creative, we've been very innovative, we've been very strong in advocating and pushing back the projects of empire. There's no questioning about that.
I love what Jean and many organizations do in terms of the role of religion in our lives. It has a tremendous power that the politicians uphold, and that is the important thing, that we have to think who's behind politicians.
I think the project has helped specifically treat to be where we are looking around organizational systems. I think for me that speaks volume around our having our first audit. That meant it's giving us potential in terms of capacity strengthening.
To me, it's been a learning journey. It's been about growing as a human. It's been about understanding the complexities and the diversity of us.
Funny story. So when I was still with Lhabibo, I used to see Melusi's post on Facebook out in Prawn, and I was like, what the hell is this bride? Is it a campaign? Like, what is it about? I inboxed him and was like, yo dude, like can I jump on board? And he's like, sorry, it's not for Bhutan. Yeah. Fast forward, I ended up being a part of the project, and I think for me, because I've always been about community, empowering, strengthening communities, and the fact that the project spoke to that, through whether it's through responding to emergencies, whether it is through the legal trainings, going to court. That was one of the exciting moments, that 24 hours where we did that campaign, ready to go out, and then it was like, okay, we can't do it anymore. But I think those were like highlights for me, and getting a chance to work with amazing people, met new people, other folks. It was like, okay, like a reunion.
We always call ourselves the diverse community, but we often forget that in our diversity there is still some diversity, and there's multi-facets to our experiences. And just being able to travel to Zimbabwe in 2020 and getting to see the community there, it was so beautiful for me, because it was a moment again for me to grow up and get to see the world from a bigger picture perspective and not just focus narrowly on individual issues. And so I can just say, I hope that in 5 years down the line we get, even if it's through a Teams meeting, a Zooms meeting, or whatever, we can get to meet again and say, where are we? What have we done?
Thank you so much to partners and colleagues who've been working diligent for this process.
For me, it's to thank each and every one of you. You have no idea how much you have sort of built me as a human and built me as an activist and a believer in human rights, and someone who wants to see social change and who wants to contribute towards social change, no matter how marginal. So thank you, and I wish you the very best, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for all of us.
Thank you everyone for allowing me into this space also.